The titanium that held his femur together would stay intact, but it would also cause the shattering of what remained of his own bone structure. Nope. Horseback riding wasn't on the menu, and neither was skydiving anymore. Maybe scuba diving if he ever got back to Lake Travis. Hiking, fishing, and riding a bike would be his limit. He'd have to avoid anything that would threaten his Humpty Dumpty leg. He sighed and smiled at the same time. It was worth it, he told himself. The faces on the refugees as they clamored for the life-saving supplies were more than a thank you, and the rescues from the earthquake in Japan that he participated in were experiences he could never have imagined. Knowing he actually made a difference in people's lives, total strangers, in fact, gave him a sense of satisfaction that nothing else on this earth could replicate. The broken bones eventually healed, but the greatest recovery was his heart. It had been broken, devastated. Now he was whole, with the additional help of some titanium and screws, and an experience that gave new meaning to life and the little things in it. Yes, he was thankful for it. He was still alive and heading home to his mom's skillet cornbread. During the flight attendant's safety speech, Kevin thought back to the circumstances that had brought him on this journey, the hobbies that would scare the bejesus out of his mother, and the breakup with Melissa. Funny thing about it, he was grateful. Grateful for the breakup, but at the time, he couldn't imagine what his future life would be like. They had been high school sweethearts, getting married, having a family, and one day opening a sporting goods shop were the only things he envisioned. Yes, he was going to thank Melissa when he saw her, because running into her was inevitable. Cedar Park was a small town. The very reason he started his life all over for the second time, counting his birth. Now, here he was again, starting fresh. This time, though, he had a much better attitude. Kevin squirmed in his seat as he imagined what his homecoming would be like. Mom would have the house decorated, as in everything. There was not one tabletop, chair, or dresser that didn't have some kind of Christmas ornament. Even the vanity in the bathroom had elves doling out toilet paper. When he was in his teens, he thought it was totally corny, almost embarrassing. Now, it would be a sight for sore eyes. And he'd be thrilled to assemble the hundreds of pieces that were transformed into a Christmas village, surrounded by the miniature trains that would run around the entire perimeter of the living room. As soon as Mrs. Matthews gave it the seal of approval, Kevin and his dad would start working on the exterior of the house, stringing the thousands of lights collected over the years on every tree, bush, and shrub that had a branch. That giant Santa and his entire entourage would sit proudly on the front lawn. Yes, the Matthews house would rival anyone else's attempt at decorating. "Eat your heart out, Macy's," would be his dad's battle cry when he flipped the switch. The only other place that presented any challenge was the Cedar Park Christmas tree farm, with acres of cedars. Hence the name of the town, Cedar Park. His grandfather had started the farm just under a century ago, and his dad started managing it when Pops retired. As soon as Halloween arrived and the hayrides were over, Mrs. Matthews would be in charge of decorating everything in sight at the tree farm. And everyone would joke about being able to see Cedar Park from the International Space Station. They had been airborne for over an hour, and Kevin's leg was beginning to stiffen. He softly nudged the guy sleeping next to him. "Excuse me, sir, sorry to disturb you." His Texas drawl let the words drop politely from his mouth. Suddenly, he got the attention of a very attractive young woman in a blue suit, whose name tag on her navy blue uniform said Allison. "Oh, sir, you're with the military, correct? Thank you for your service." She beamed her very best flight attendant smile. "My pleasure, ma'am." Kevin was never fully aware of the effect.